This next question I think will be pretty quick. Can cash value life insurance help cover payroll during downturns or survive recessions? Short answer is yes. We would never set up a whole life insurance policy to say, hey, this is going to be how you're going to fund payroll. Like that would be a disaster. But like any emergency fund, like any war chest, you name it, if you have the cash value available, of course you can utilize it for things like that. It just shouldn't be built into the plan right away. Does that make sense, Dom?
Yeah, no, for sure. I couldn't agree more with that statement.
Okay.
Yeah.
My next question for you is, can I use whole life insurance for employee retention?
You sure can, Mr. Caleb Williams. Here's some ways that one can think about it from a business owner perspective. The quote unquote the golden handcuffs, doing stuff like executive bonus plans. Essentially where like the employer is paying the premium on a policy, the employee owns it, and then the employee gets cash value, death benefit, and then the employer can get a deduction from that at the same time. So there could be some benefits on both sides. The split dollar arrangements, we've had other episodes that we've talked about this, especially with the Charlie Kirk episode. I've had some on the And Asset channel earlier. We're talking about the coach from Michigan and how he's got paid there. The deferred compensation. There's lots of ways that one can do payments to your employees to golden handcuff them. And a lot of it is based off of the terms, which makes them want to stay so that they get the benefits into the future.
Yep. You can also do things like buy, sell. So even like for owners or people that are really key to the business, you can do certain things.
But that wouldn't necessarily be like employee retention.
You're totally right. I'm just saying there's a lot of ways that you can blend whole life insurance or any type of life insurance into the employee retention or just business owner retention space.
Yep, I agree. Glad you brought that up.
Can business owners use a policy loan for marketing? Short answer is yes. I would put this in the same category as if you're going to deploy capital, you want to make sure, factoring in for risk, that you can get that money back. So let me share an example for me personally. When I first started with the And Asset book, I used a policy loan to fund the And Asset book. One, because it's a great story. So I was like, this would be a great thing to say that this helped fund, and it did. Could I have had money elsewhere? Sure, but I decided to utilize my policy. Why? Because it's just a perfect example. That book has now over 20,000 copies sold, printed out in the world, and that book has brought in a lot more money than the initial loan. So if you do the math, I'll just make a number up. Let's say it cost me $15,000 to get the And Asset book out in the world. And just from book sales alone, we've probably recovered that. But the real money has been the people that have read the book that wanted to be clients of ours. So let's just say, Dom, we've made hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not potential millions of dollars from that book. And you could look at the investment of utilizing the policy. Now there's time and other things into it. So it wasn't like a magic wand, but you can see where that math adds up. So that's an example, real life example of how you can utilize your life insurance policy for marketing, but it can return lots, of money. An example where it could turn is you could spend $20,000 for marketing. If you're not watching on YouTube, I'm using air quotes, but that marketing could be a total disaster. If you're a business owner, you know what I mean. A lot of marketing doesn't work out. So you just have to know that if I took a policy loan, a $20,000 policy loan, and my marketing didn't pay off, now I have to find another way to pay off that. And that's just something that you need to know. So it's just like an investment that goes south. Some investments will pay off, some will go to the moon, some will not pay off at all. And that's kind of how you need to think about the marketing space. And so while I would tread lightly, you for sure can use capital to use for different marketing initiatives.
And I think the framework to think about this and all these questions we're asking relative to can I use my policy for XYZ? Ask yourself the question is, if you had a line of credit somewhere else, would you use that line of credit for it? because when you break it down to simplistic form, that's really
Yep.
what life insurance is. It is a line of credit. There's obviously a death benefit attached to it, and it continues to grow and compounds.
Yep.
And there's other benefits that come along with that we've talked about on the show. But at the end of the day, like if we're talking about using it for business purposes, for marketing, employees, retention, recessions, it's like, do I need to use a line of credit to deploy for helping my business do X? And if you're like, I have money out the other places, then maybe it's like, no, because you do have a controlled cost that you still have to use to
Yes.
essentially make that work.